This segment on the Kabbalah will focus on the tradition of study that is Gnostic. The word Gnostic means knowledge. The knowledge to be imparted through the study of Gnostic and mystical Kabbalah is a special kind of knowledge. This tradition teaches that Kabbalah is a timeless, eternal science that is the basic structure of everything. According to Gnosticism, the study of this eternal science grew out of those who were the initiates of the Atlantean civilization. And the Atlantean civilization was also the civilization of the Maya. And this is why, even though the Atlantean civilization disappeared, the Mayan knowledge continued the tradition. The wisdom and knowledge of the Mayan and Atlanteans was passed on to different civilizations. Chaldea inherited the knowledge of Kabbalah, and in Egypt, Moses, a priest of Osiris and Isis, learned the knowledge and taught it as well. The Gnostics say Moses received the Kabbalah in 3 ways. First, Moses received the spirit of the doctrine. In the Jewish tradition, the first part of the doctrine that Moses received was the secret oral tradition. This oral tradition was later written down in the Zohar, the Book of Splendor. Second, Moses received the soul of the doctrine, and in the Jewish tradition, this is the Talmud. Third, Moses received the body of the doctrine. In the Jewish tradition, this is the Torah. In the Christian tradition, it is the Bible. There are many symbols and stories in the Torah and Bible that are difficult for the ordinary person to understand because they do not have the spirit or the soul of the doctrine. According to the Gnostic tradition, even though the Jews had the traditional Kabbalah that was given by Moses, in ancient times, ordinary people had no access to it, and this is why Jesus came into the Jewish race. Jesus wanted to make universal what had formerly been only for the Jews. Gnostics say that after the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus, he dictated a special book of Kabbalah to his disciples. This book is called the Pistis Sophia, and through this book, the knowledge of the Kabbalah was given to the rest of the world. This Kabbalah is the kind that was taught in the Atlantean civilization, the Chaldean civilization, the Egyptian civilization, and by Jesus, and it was taught in secret for centuries. The 3 books that are recommended by the Gnostic school of Kabbalah are Tarot and Kabbalah, the Path of Initiation in the Sacred Arcana, Alchemy and Kabbalah in the Tarot, Keys for Radical Transformation, and those are both by the Gnostic initiate Samael on Weor. And the 3rd book is Mystical Kabbalah by Dion, and I've listed all of these 3 in the sources below. Though there are other writers that know about Kabbalah, according to the Gnostics, most of them deviated from the real path. The Gnostics distinguish between white initiates and black initiates, and white initiates are those who work to eliminate their ego. White relates to purity and sanctity. Black initiates do not work to eliminate their ego. The white initiates are the ones that give the initiatic Kabbalah. There are 2 trees in the Gnostic school of Kabbalah that are significant. This is because in the book of Genesis in the Bible, there are 2 trees in the Garden of Eden. The tree of knowledge of good and evil, what the Gnostics call da'at, and the tree of life. Knowledge in Greek is Gnosis. In Hebrew, knowledge is the word da'at. The tree of knowledge is related to the science of transformation. The Hermeticists call this alchemy. The science of alchemy is about learning to take control of our energies in order to transmute and transform them into the realization and actualization of the true self. The tree of knowledge, da'at, is hidden within the tree of life. The other tree important to the Gnostics is the tree of life. The tree of life is a symbol of many parts of what they call the innermost being. And to some Gnostics, this means God. The Kabbalah symbolizes the tree of life by a diagram of 10 spheres or worlds, and the spheres are called the 10 sephiroth. Kabbalah is the study of the tree of life. Alchemy is the study of the hidden tree of knowledge of good or evil, or da'at. Da'at is hidden because it was always prohibited to discuss. In the Jewish tradition, very few know about or study this hidden aspect of the tree. Intellectual Kabbalists memorize the Kabbalah and study it, but do not have direct experience related to it. The Gnostic Kabbalists say you must experience something with your consciousness. Gnosis is knowledge through direct experience. They teach that if you want to understand Kabbalah, the tree of life, you have to know alchemy, the tree of knowledge. And in order to understand alchemy, one must study Kabbalah, the tree of life. The primary symbol of the tree of life is the sephiroth tree. It has a structure of 10 spheres, which are called sephiroth in Hebrew. On a macrocosmic level, the spheres represent dimensions or worlds. Psychologically, they represent aspects of our consciousness. Physically, they represent parts of the human body. The 10 sephiroth are within each one of us. They subexist in all organic and inorganic matter, and every human being has them, but must incarnate them. The sephiroth form regions where the archangels, angels, and cherubim live. The sephiroth also have their points of relation with the physical body. The first sephiroth is called Keter, which means crown. It is at the top of the diagram. The 3 mysterious sephiroth that are above the crown are the Ein, which in Hebrew means nothingness, the Ein Sof, which means the limitless, and the Ein Sof Or the limitless light. The Absolute is what Moses referred to as Elohim. This has been wrongly translated in the Bible as God. The word Elohim is not God in Hebrew. The word God in Hebrew is El. Elohim is a plural word and means gods and goddesses. Every religion depicts the ultimate reality in a different way, but it is the fundamental root from which existence emerges. We cannot understand this with our intellect. We must understand it with our consciousness. The ultimate reality is the Absolute. In Buddhism, the Absolute is represented as the Adi Buddha. In Hinduism, it is called Brahman, the self-shining pure being who is the support of the universe, consciousness itself, changeless, and bliss absolute. The Aztecs symbolized this by a radiant sun. Helena P. Blavatsky called it the Great Breath, the perpetual motion of the universe in the sense of limitless, ever-present space. In the Gnostic tradition, it emerges from the womb of the Divine Mother, which is the primordial potentiality. The Absolute is the fire and the uncreated light, and it has 3 aspects: the unmanifested, the spirit of life that animates every being, and the chaotic, inodorous, atomic seminal matter. Traditions all over the world held basically the same symbol of the tree of life as a representation of the highest and most sacred aspect of their civilizations. Here are some examples: the Assyrian tree of life, the Buddhist tree of life, the Christian tree of life, the Egyptian tree of life, the Greek tree of life, the Tibetan tree of life, and the Nordic tree of life. Here is how Samael on Weor, Gnostic master, in his book Tarot and Qabalah, The Path to Initiation in the Sacred Arcana, describes the 3 aspects of the Absolute. The Absolute is the being of all beings, that which is, which has always been, and which always will be. It is the cause of spirit and of matter, but it is neither spirit nor matter. It is beyond the mind, and we have to intuitively understand its nature. It is not a God, neither a divine nor human individual. It is the unconditional and eternal abstract space far beyond gods and human beings. It is the uncreated light which does not project a shadow. It has 3 aspects. Ein is the same as Sat in Sanskrit. In other words, the unmanifested absolute. Ein Sof is the second aspect, where a certain manifestation already exists, the place where all creatures abide who do not have the right to enter into the Ein, the unmanifested absolute. Ein Sof Or is the third aspect in accordance with the Hebrew Kabbalah. Here we find the first cosmos, the purely spiritual protocosmos, the solar absolute, which is formed by multiple spiritual suns. There are said to be 3 manifested levels of existence: the heavens, the physical realm, and the inferior worlds or hell realms. These 3 manifested worlds only exist temporarily in stages or great epochs. They emerge from and return to a great non-existence or void, which is the emptiness or absolute. That which emerge, in other words, everything in existence, is symbolized as the tree of life. The unknown is also called the eternal cosmic father, within which is the eternal cosmic mother. The first thing to emerge from the unknown is the light, or the Ein Sof Or. In Greek, it is called Christos, or Christ. Christ is not a person, but the first emanation of the unknown. What are sephiroth? Sephirah is from a Hebrew word which means enumeration, counting, or jewel. The plural is sephiroth. The 10 sephiroth of universal vibration emerge from the Ein Sof. In reality, there are 12 sephiroth, even though only 10 are spoken of. The Ein Sof is the 11th, and its antithesis is in the abyss, which is the 12th. The 10 sephiroth can be reduced into 3 tables: a quantum table of the radiant energy that comes from the sun, an atomic weight table of the elements of nature, and a molecular weight table of compounds. These 3 tables are what is called Jacob's ladder, which goes from earth to heaven. The sephiroth represent levels of consciousness. These are aspects of our own inner psychology. The tree is a symbol of the Kabbalah, which is a map of our own consciousness and also a map of the universe. The universe and our consciousness are reflections of one another. To study the Kabbalah is also to study the science of numbers. To review, according to the Kabbalists, the 40 spheres of creation that came out of the Ein Sof are divided into 4 worlds. These are Azitluth, Bria, Yetzirah, and Asaya. The world of Azitluth is the world of archetypes or emanations. This is the level of potentialities or blueprints. Bria is the world of creation. Yetzirah is the world of formation, and Asaya is the world of action. Originally, there were 4 Kabbalistic trees, and these were eventually combined by later Jewish scholars into one inclusive diagram, and these were called not only the sephirotic, but also the archetypal or heavenly Adam. This heavenly Adam is what is described in the opening chapter of Genesis in the Bible. Adam was not a terrestrial creature. It was out of this divine man the universe was formed, and in him it remains and will continue even after the spheres or sephiroth dissolve back into the Ein Sof. According to Kabbalists, the deity or source of all is not actually contained in the sephiroth. These are purely hypothetical vessels and simply define the limits of the creative source. The 10 sephiroth compose the body of the prototypic Adam. At the top is Keter, the crown. In descending order, they are Chokmah, wisdom; Binah, understanding; Chesed, mercy; Geburah, severity; Tifereth, beauty; Netzah, victory; Had, glory; Yesod, foundation; and at the bottom, Malkuth, or the kingdom. Keter is located on the crown of the head. Chokmah is on the right side of the brain, and Binah is on the left side of the brain. Chesed is in the right arm and Geburah in the left arm. Tifereth is in the heart. Netzach is in the right leg and Had in the left leg. Yesod is in the sexual organs and Malkuth in the feet. These are atomic and of a spiritual nature. They are not atoms of carbon, oxygen, or nitrogen. The 10 spheres are organized as a structure of 3 vertical columns. 3 triangles hang on the columns, and the columns are connected by 22 channels or paths. The first triangle represents the 3 primary forces, the first trinity, or 3 in 1, which are Keter, Chokmah, and Binah. According to the Gnostic Kabbalists, the 3 in 1 is the cosmic Christ, the radiant force from which illuminates all life. The cosmic Christ is 1, but he is also 3, and he emerges from the zero, from nothing, from the absolute. The 10 globes called the Sephiroth are numbered from 1 to 10. The 10 numbers plus the 22 letters represent and result in the occult number 32. According to the Mishnah, this signifies the 32 paths of wisdom. Letters and numbers are the keys to all knowledge, for by a secret system of arranging them, the mysteries of creation are revealed. The 3 columns of the Sephirotic tree are called mercy on the right, severity on the left, and in between them is the reconciling power of mildness. The columns then represent wisdom, strength, and beauty. These form the foundation of the universe, for it is written that the foundation of all things is 3. 3 Sephiroth of form are found in the pillar of severity, Binah, Geburah, and Had. 3 Sephiroth of energy are found in the pillar of mercy, Chokmah, Chesed, and Netzach. The pillar of equilibrium is between these two pillars, where all the distinct levels of consciousness are found: Keter, Sephiroth, Yesod, and Malkut. 3 vertical columns support the universal system of the Sephirotic tree. The central pillar has its foundation in Keter, the eternal one. It passes down through Da'at, the hidden sphere, and then through Sephiroth and Yesod, with its lower end resulting upon the firm foundation of Malkut. The importance of the central pillar is equilibrium. The column on the right is called Yakin. It has its foundation in Chokmah, the outpouring wisdom of God. The 3 spheres suspended from it are all masculine potencies. Wisdom is considered as radiant and outpouring. The column at the left is called Boaz. The 3 spheres on it are feminine and receptive potencies, because it is founded in understanding, which is a receptive, and maternal potency, which is filled by the flowing of wisdom. The 3 pillars are united in Malkut. In Malkut, all the powers of the superior worlds are manifested. The 22 channels are the letters of the Hebrew alphabet. To these are assigned the major trumps of the tarot deck of symbolic cards. The occultist Eliphas Levi said that by arranging the tarot cards according to a definite order, man could discover all that is knowable concerning his God, his universe, and himself. And I will be looking at the tarot and all of the individual cards of the major arcana in other videos. So that's all for today. See you next time.